So today's class, whenever you are, is going from beginnings, from endings to new beginnings. And so if you were here in our last class, for Pacific, yeah, for that next class, for the Art of Releasing Energy, Thursday, July 29th. It's on the calendar on the website. So this is a two-part series. And if you just joined, if this is your first time, or no worries, it doesn't matter. Each class stands on its own, but this is a two-part series. Our first part was on dealing with endings. And tonight, we're working on going from endings to new beginnings. We don't want to just end on endings. That's no fun. And I think our last class, and for those of you who were here, if you want to share, it was a little emotional. I think it was a little emotional for a lot of people on allowing things to end and experiencing that and feeling that and letting go. And that's not something that ends. You may let something go many, many times. It may feel like a deeper layer or level of something is ending again and again and again. But through those endings, new things are always birthed, right? So at the end of every cycle, there's the beginning of a new cycle. I lived in Hawaii for a long time where it felt like there were no seasons. So it felt like there's rainy season and not rainy season, but the weather was very similar all year. And I was like, I was missing that feeling of things ending and then beginning. I think there's something special about experiencing all the seasons of life, feeling those endings and those new beginnings. I was speaking with a friend today whose father recently passed away, and he was saying how he wants to have children now. And there's this one chapter of his life had ended where he was always the son, and perhaps a new chapter of his life is starting where now he's going to be the father, right? Um, so there's a sadness when something ends, when we lose people. Um, some endings are very natural, right? And other endings, like we make a decision, I'm ending this relationship, I'm ending this job, I'm ending this friendship, I'm ending this pattern. And other endings, life just, it just happens. They just happen. People pass away, the seasons change. Some endings we have some control over and some we don't. But what we do always have control over is our own energy. Um, And so we allow things to end. We're getting better at that as we meditate. And now we're going to allow things to be birthed out of those endings. So just reading some of you guys, your guys is feeling, your feelings pretty good, a bit lost, have been off work for 10 weeks, feeling a little down. You have to surrender your cat to a shelter. Don't tell me that. Oh, frustrated. Okay. Headed to Colorado. Hi. I'm here too. Thanks. Um, yeah, thanks for sharing your feelings, guys. Feel free to share more of them. Other people read them. You're frustrated too? What? I remember in Hawaii we had a cat that prematurely died. It was attacked by a dog, and I remember we buried her, and it was just me and a buddy, and we were standing under the tree after burying her, and we could just feel the stillness of death. There was this like stillness, this almost peace, but it had a palpable feeling, just like if you've ever experienced it, like things just stopped, right? And then even that passes, and then something else is born. So maybe there's somewhere in your life that's occurring. And in this class and in this meditation, we're going to focus on, with as much grace as we can, allowing something new to be born. So if a relationship ended, if someone passed away, if you left a job, uh, whatever it might be for you. It could be something really big like that, or it might be smaller. Maybe you're just dealing with allowing each day to end and the next day to begin, right? Whatever it is, if you can start to flow with life and recognize there are these natural movements in life and being less resistance, you're going to find yourself having less frustration and maybe more miracle energy happening. Like the more we resist life, the less we allow miracles and synchronicities to manifest in our lives. And the more we open to it in an accepting attitude, the more magic starts to come in. And that's just my experience. If you want to test that for yourself, test it out for yourself. But if someone comes to me and says, David, I tried that, it's not working, I'm so frustrated, then I would say, well, if you're really frustrated, you're not really accepting life. You're frustrated, you're resisting it still. So we have to be really honest with ourselves. Yes to miracles. Good. Excellent. Um, awesome. And remember that there's all these endings and beginnings happening to you, but then there's also endings and beginnings happening to everyone around you. And you may be part of somebody else's ending, and you may be part of somebody else's beginning. You might meet somebody in the near future, and not only are they a new beginning for you, but you're a new beginning for them. So take yourself a little bit out of that me, and just realize you're part of this beautiful symphony of life that's beginning and ending and beginning, and cycles are shifting and changing. And you are part of that. And the energy that you bring to that is so, so valuable. The energy that you bring to humanity. Yeah. So, what kind of energy would you like to bring to humanity? And what kind of energy would you like to bring to the changes happening in your life so that you can really embrace something new? I think those are some good questions to ask ourselves. Someone said, I'm frustrated and trying to be patient with people. Well, if you're frustrated, then you're not really patient, right? It's hard to be patient and frustrated at the same moment. Yeah. Um, so I know expectations can be tough. They could be tough. Um, why don't, for those of you who are here live, before we go into meditation, I want you to write in the box and just share something that's ended for you and something you're looking towards for a new beginning. Okay. What is it that's ending for you? And what are you looking for when it comes to a new beginning? Those two may be related, maybe they're not. Something that's ending or has ended for you, and something that you're looking for in terms of a new beginning. Maybe it already started, maybe you're waiting, right? I just moved 1,400 miles to a new place, leaving my job and home state to move to go back to school. Home in Georgia, home in Utah, or Colorado? Good question. Ending with my ex-girlfriend 2 years ago, wanting to find a new one. Great. Children left to college. Mom, I told my mom to fuck off. Okay. And started pursuing my dream. I think congratulations. I'm not, it depends on what kind of energy you did it in. My marriage ended and I'm looking to shift careers, looking to align relationships and career. Wonderful. New identity with work, stepping into a new role, feeling the fear and excitement. Wonderful. Left an old job, starting a new one. Recently lost my job. Um, you're okay with it? Cool. Excited about the next chapter of your life. Wonderful. Yeah. Ending procrastination and dread and beginning enjoying getting things done with vigor and joy. Lovely. Ah, cool. Working as a social worker from home is ending and going back into work in person. Yeah. Son is leaving for college. Ending unhealthy boundaries, beginning surrounding myself with supportive people. Well, here you are, Timmy, surrounded by supportive people. I was at a retreat last week with Don Miguel Ruiz, the guy who wrote the Four Agreements. And I was in another class in the weekend. Someone was teaching breath work, and it was like hundreds of people. And somebody was in a lot of struggle and pain. And so the teacher had everyone stand around this one person and provide like healing energy and space for this one person to heal. And it was really powerful to watch. The tears were running and the energy was moving, and you could see. And then she had all the men stand around her uh, in an inner circle and the women on the outside, and then switch. And that was also really fascinating, just to watch this whole group of people, male, female energy, hold space for someone to heal. That was really nice. And then this is a total side note, but at the end of the retreat, they asked me to guide a meditation to finish the retreat. And then Don Miguel spoke, and he said it was going to be his last time speaking. And then the retreat ended. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty wild. If you haven't read that book, Four Agreements, it's really lovely. Ending a relationship with the school I've worked for 20 years. Ending my passivity with my ex-husband. Good. Good, good, good. You guys crushing it over here. Rededicating myself to fitness. Lovely. Wow. Thank you all for being so forthcoming and sharing, because everyone listening to this, watching the download too, is going to get a lot out of that sharing. Wow. So a lot of relationship, a lot of career, a lot of ending of patterns and starting new ones. Good. That's really, really great to hear all of that. And I read this lovely quote from John Kabat-Zinn, who's a meditation teacher. And he said, meditation is not what you think, period. That's it. Meditation is not what you think. No matter what you think, that's not meditation. I don't care if it's the highest Einsteinian thought on the theory of relativity, or the most Thich Nhat Hanh thought on love and compassion, right? Or the most Buddhist thought on oneness. Even the most amazing pure thought about oneness is not meditation and not oneness. It's a thought, right? That's not meditation. So I don't care how high or how low your thoughts are, how positive, how negative, what direction they take you in. You can trail off into a sexual fantasy, or how you hate the whole world, or how you love everyone and life is perfect. Fine. Not meditation. Meditation is when you drop your attachment to those thoughts, and when they stop having a spell on you, and you realize you're more than those thoughts, and then you can sit in that stillness. That's meditation, and that's where your answers start to arise. And then when all of those thoughts start to like dissipate, then maybe something really inspirational or an aha arises, like something really deep, like, oh, I get it. I realize something about myself. But that'll never happen if you have judgment around the thoughts that you're having and attachments to the thoughts that you're having. So if you're like, that's a really horrible thought, that's a great thought, I'm amazing. That attachment and identification to those thoughts, positive or negative, will keep you out of really being present, and keep you out of really meditating. So that's kind of the baseline of meditation, that awareness that I'm not just my thoughts. Our thoughts can help us realize how we feel and the energy we're processing. I'm not saying discard them all. You're just starting to recognize that distance and that space. And then, especially in these classes in meditation school, and what I like to do here, hopefully that's unique, is we go deep into working our energy and getting our answers, right? So, okay, I let some of these initial thoughts pass, and now I'm working on letting something end. And I could sense that energy. I see the image in my mind's eye. It's not just thought, there's image, there's energy. And maybe I start to look at what that really means for me. And maybe I start to release something deep. It's more than just thinking about releasing something. You're not just thinking I'm releasing something, right? That's like trying to wipe something off your face in the mirror by wiping it off in the mirror, thinking that you're releasing something. I had a guy come to me once and he said something like, David, I have meditated for 5,000 hours. Like, okay. And I could tell he was like totally in his head. It was like a computer telling me it was meditating, counting the minutes. I had one woman on a retreat once say, I already have my meditation practice, David. I breathe, I count to 500. That is my practice. I have no problems. I have no issues. And I was like, oh, that sounds really intense. Like so much control, right? It's just so much control. And then a few minutes later, she came to me and she's like, looked around to see if anyone was listening. She's like, hey, you think I could have a one-on-one session? And I said, about what? And she was like, relationships, which is like often what it's about. And I thought to myself, she just told me she had no issues because she counts to 500 and everything disappears. But the moment she stops counting, everything reappears because she wasn't really working on her energy, just like that guy who's all in his head. So I have no overarching philosophy or ideology to teach you. I don't care if you believe in Jesus or Buddha or Moses or Krishna or Harry Potter or Apollo or Zeus or Athena. I don't care. I'm only here to teach you tools to deepen into your energy and yourself and get your own answers. The rest is up to you. If you get some big answer and you want to go start a new religion, go for it. Send me some proceeds. Please don't go start a new religion. That would be weird. All right. So we are here to work our energy and get our answers. Okay. And when we do that, we find inner peace. Okay? Naturally, when we work our energy, we find inner peace. And sometimes that takes feeling things that don't always feel good and looking at things we don't want to see. So, as I always say, when we go into meditation, the only real thing you have to do and focus on is being as honest as you possibly can with yourself. That's number one. And number two, we're learning how to see, not just feel. Feeling's good, but we're learning how to see things for ourselves. That's why we call it insight. We're seeing in. We close our physical eyes and we open our inner eye and we see in. And the more you can see in, the easier it will be to see out. It's the same mechanism. When you start talking to other people, not with your physical eyes, but with your inner eye, you can start to see into them too. You could see their pain. Maybe you could see who they really are beneath all their thoughts and their history. You can see all these different layers and levels of other people as you start to understand and see yourself more. And that's going to benefit all of your relationships. So we're learning to really see inwards and see ourselves and work our energy. So that's what we're doing here. If you don't want to do that, well, I don't know what to say. I'm just here because I'm trying to go to sleep. Is this the right class? Is this the wrong channel? There's this show, Rick and then we're going to go into meditation. Rick and Morty. I'm such a dork. It's my favorite show. It's horrible and great at the same time. It's hilarious. And they sit on the couch and they watch interdimensional TV. And it's so wild. Anyway, on that note, is this the right channel? Is David on my Apple TV? All right. This is, by the way, this is just how Don Miguel Ruiz teaches when he gets on stage. He talks about Rick and Morty. Not. Uh,